subjects for the manager to put up with there, and it's a much more exhausting process, isn't it, for a manager than a player for a big occasion like this. But the news that we were all listening out for, of course, was that of Thiago and Fabinho, and it's good news. Looks good for both of them. Fabinho's trained normally. Thiago trained with the team yesterday. Of course, now the session that you're about to see out here will be key in all of that, but it's great news, Aldo.
Oh, wow. You know, we spoke about it last night, didn't we? And when we seen, you know, Thiago's face when he came off against Wolves, you know, disappointment in his face, and you think he's pulled something there, he's done something really serious. So it's, well, I thought he had no chance, you know. So massive boost, massive boost, isn't it?
It's massive. The difficulty you have is, listen, I was in this situation. We had Germany in the World Cup, and Mick McCarthy said to me, "Are you fit?" I'd taken an injury to my knee, and I wasn't fit, and I knew I wasn't fit, but I wanted to play. I was desperate to play, and you do get a little bit selfish, and you do tell a few white lies. You take the tablets and you try and numb the pain, and you know, it might be a little bit different these days, but this is certainly what we didn't want to miss it. So as much as he might be saying he's fit, he will be put through probably his paces now, and he'll have to prove his fitness, so we will see probably a lot. We will, but I mean, listen, fingers crossed, and let's hope if he is fit that we get 90 minutes, maybe extra time. Let's hope we get, you know, the full match out of him.
And also for Fabinho, you know, we've seen it against Wolves. We were a little bit exposed at times in that game, especially in the first half, where we didn't have the guarantee of. Endo does a great job, and Milner, you know, but he's a specialist at that job. You know, when you've got like Vinicius on one side, you know, with the pace and all that.
Who's most important, Thiago or Fabinho?
I'd say Fabinho. I'd say Fabinho, because what he gives you defensively, and that's what you need with Benzema and the people they've got, and the midfield players, he gets amongst them, and he's been absolutely fantastic since we brought him into the team. So Thiago's brilliant, as we see, creatively, and that goal he created for Mane was wow. At the wow factor, and he does that time and time again. But what they've done, the three of them with Endo, they built up a repertoire between the three of them. You know, each other plays, you know, and that's you know, it's so valuable that you know, the balance and the play. They are the strongest three that we have, without a shadow of a doubt, and it's been seen time and time again this season with the manager, the way he plays them in the big games.
You're right, the value is completely different. You look at the defensive value of what Fabinho adds, which is vitally important, and plus going up against the man who scored 44 goals this season, you kind of would want him in the team. Where Thiago, you look on the flip side, defensively they've been okay, second best defence in La Liga this season. Courtois had, I think, 20 clean sheets. He's been a star for them this season, because Courtois, as much as we talk about Alisson, he's been very good for Madrid and worth his weight in gold. But like John said, you know, Thiago just sees little openings, doesn't he? Sees little gaps, and these games are usually won on fine margins. You know, there's so much talent on the pitch. You're just looking for someone who's got that little bit of magic, and he has that. He has that in the opponent's final third. He can find the eye of a needle. He can find a runner. He's got all kinds of weighted passes. So if they were both missing, I'd be concerned. If we get one in the team, I'm more confident, but if the two of them play, I'm very confident.
Two massive European specialists, aren't they, as well? How are you feeling about that news, by the way? Hashtag Live in Paris. Get involved on all the usual social media channels, and we'll get as many of your messages on the screen as we can over the course of the next hour or so, as we wait for Liverpool players to come out onto the pitch. Claudio Taffarel and John Achterberg just out there at the moment. I always wonder about a goalkeeper coaching an occasion like this, and he's somebody that you know very well. In fact, you might not know this, but John Aldridge actually signed John Achterberg as a footballer and brought him to England all of those years ago.
Sorry, how much did you pay for him? Do you remember?
I think it was a free, you know.
Oh, you got him on a free.
We had no money anyway. Money was coming in, but it wasn't going out.
What a great keeper!
What a great lad as well to have. You know, totally honest, you know, totally grounded. Lovely way about him. He was great in the dressing rooms. He was a super goalkeeper for us, you know. And I've obviously kept in contact with him for the years, and you know, people questioned him at one stage, and I couldn't get it. I think it's probably because of Karius, maybe what happened with Karius. But he's shown his quality by look at how strong we are now, goalkeeper-wise, with the three goalkeepers we've got. There's no other team in world football got a stronger three goalkeepers, in my opinion, you know, than what we've got. So that goes down to John, and
Absolutely, yeah.
His attention to detail is massive. He's big on set plays. His job probably now, because Jurgen Klopp said he'd watched the referees warm up and the ball was bouncing fine. His job now will be to try and figure out how well this pitch is playing before the players come out. Now we have to say that there's a bit of concern, as you heard with the manager. You were a little bit concerned. Just a few
do you know
minutes ago.
what I did earlier on, and just there by the corner flag? It looks a bit long at the moment, so I pulled like a little bit, not on the pitch, off the pitch, up, and it actually came up like a carpet. Now it's only been laid for four days.
It's been in 4 days.
Because the fella told us, and he's done a great job. It looks fantastic, but whether it's natural, genuinely natural, then Jurgen will want. He'll know, and he'll look at that and intensively and see. I think it needs cutting personally. And I'm sure he'll get drenched before the game. And it goes for both teams. It's across the fence. It makes no difference. But they play as well as they play great football, and you want the pitch to be as good as it can be.
I mean, in all honesty, listen, we've got to remember the game was changed as well. They changed venue, wasn't it? So they prepared this stadium unbelievably well. It is a concern. I mean, it looks brilliant at the minute, but how it plays, we'll get a good indication when they come out and train on it now. But it can be a concern. John's right. I think it's a little bit long at the minute. They might be keeping it like that because the sun's out. Maybe they don't want to burn it or whatever. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I only do my grass at home, and I know if you cut it too short, you can burn it. So, but tomorrow, I'm sure it'll be wet and it'll be cut properly.
But we spoke to one of the fellas, and he's very talented. And he's learned so much about what happens with that's coming after the final. That's going off and going to a lesser team.
It's Le Mans get it, don't they?
Le Mans, in France, which is it's fantastic for them to get that pitch relayed. But underneath, then it goes to the rugby. The rugby team are going to play on there's an actual lawn underneath the lawn. And it was, he opened our eyes a little bit last night, didn't he?
Yeah, the rugby pitch is actually underneath the pitch that you can see here at the moment as well, and the rugby pitch will be replaced. This pitch will go elsewhere as well, but this is the moment now as the players just come out, get their first test of this pitch. They all look very relaxed, although you were saying just before we went to Jurgen Klopp's press conference about the sense of the occasion and an FA Cup that got to you. Robbo was saying earlier on, we embrace occasions like this. How difficult is it to do that then?
Well, as a kid, I dreamt about playing an FA Cup final at Wembley because it was huge. That was probably, it was bigger than winning the league probably in the early days. And the build-up, we went down to London on a Thursday, and it was great, the build-up. But on the Saturday, going down Wembley way and seeing the crowds, and and I was there as a fan of Liverpool many occasions, and going in, and then you go on the pitch with your suits on, and you see the crowd, then you see your family. It's just, I always remember after we stood, and then we met Princess Diane. I remember it was absolutely gorgeous. I must have to admit that she was lovely. And when we after we ran down towards our fans, I mean, my legs went like jelly, and I thought, what's happened there? Like he had no energy. I'd sat myself before the game started. I didn't play particularly well. I'll hold my hand up, and the penalties, we know about what happened there. But actually, my heart ruled my head a little bit, and just sat me. So it's very important for the manager, and both manager and the players, to make sure that doesn't happen to them, before the game.
These occasions have become so much more, haven't they, than just a football match. There's a lot of, I use the word razzmatazz, we see pop stars now singing before the game. There's an enormity around it. It's probably, would you say, the biggest sporting event? It's certainly up there, isn't it, with the Super Bowl? It's the hottest ticket in town, and it's made to be like that. I mean, they charge a lot of money for tickets, and the football, sometimes you hope it just doesn't become a side product to what's going on. The players have to handle that emotion as well, of all the stuff that goes on. Like you said before, there's a lot more press to do. The good thing is, like for Real Madrid as well, they're well experienced in this situation now, and I agree with John. My first time at Wembley, I was blown away by walking into Wembley, the occasion, how much press you had to do. the pressure on the game, because it's a one-off game, and it's everything's on it, isn't it? It's just that one-off chance you have, and you work so hard to get there, and it's like you know, am I going to play well? And it's completely different than anything else you'll experience as a normal game, as a normal league game, or you know, a couple of rounds earlier, and you have to embrace it. You have to deal with the emotion, and you have to adjust to it. And the good thing is, this is, for a lot of them, this is their third final, isn't it?
Yeah, that experience does help you. You know, the first one, obviously, you know, for this, we lost them. Hopefully that was the one we sapped them. And then the second one, the Tottenham one, hopefully we'll learn by the experience and we'll get better and better and hopefully we'll keep on coming to these finals in years to come and experiencing them and enjoying them as much as we do. They've got to enjoy them as well.
I think it's a massive part of that, isn't it? Almost like a boxer that's got that experience of going 12 rounds. Liverpool have got to the last game in every competition this season, gone to extra time, gone to penalties. They've got that you know, muscle memory, if you like, as to how tough it can get, and we can come through and we can get a result at the end.
So Madrid, Peter, certainly in this competition, I mean, how many times have we wrote them off in this competition? Paris Saint-Germain, Man City, Chelsea. I didn't think they'd get through any of them games, and they've gone on through the last 10 minutes and got unbelievable results, haven't they? And got themselves through. So they've got that belief as well, haven't they? As much as Liverpool have.
Well, having gone through it before, but like you say, both perennial winners, aren't they? This fella who has lifted all the trophies, 6 different major honours, and just that insatiable appetite, and you were part of that, although in a wonderful Liverpool team. Once you win one, I know you have the experience of doing it again, but does it become almost like a need to go and win the next one?
Yeah, because you want to experience the best things in your life, don't you? And when you get to do it once, you know, you want to replicate it and enjoy it again and again and again. And it is, you say, mindset. That goes amongst the picture. And these lads have done that while Sheeran's been here. And it won't hinder you, it'll help you more than anything, you know, that you've gone and won things before. And you... Stevie G up there, right? Gotta say hello to Stevie. So yeah, you know, it's they've been brilliant. Whatever happens this year, you know, but you're just so desperate for them to finish it on a high because they deserve it so much.
Do you know what I love about this team, and you know, I put it down to Jurgen and his staff, is how he creates a hunger for as much as they've done. I think this team is desperate to win the Premier League, and it's a desire now. It's a hunger, it's a desire, even though they've won it. Some teams, some players can win things and down tools and it becomes enough for them. This team, they just want to go again and again and again. It's like it's not enough, and I think that's created by Jurgen Klopp and his desire to win things. And I think if he sees that in a player, if he sees the flame go out, or he sees that the eye of the tiger, or if he sees that go from the players, he's going to move them on. You know, he's committed a lot of players to the club again, and because he believes in them going forward, doesn't he?
Do you know what the hardest part as a manager, obviously, is keeping the squad players happy?
Yeah, massive.
How's he managed to do that, Aldo?
I don't know, different managers do it different way, but we've been fortunate that the squad's that good. And I don't like saying the second team or the reserve team, the squad players, because it is a squad at the end of the day, actually got us to win 2 cups by getting us to the latter stages of the Milk Cup. Sorry, that's when I won it.
That takes me back.
The Carabao Cup and obviously the FA Cup, and that's actually kept them sweet, for want of a better word.
Yeah. We were talking about, I can't remember who I was talking about, and they were saying the modern player doesn't talk about games now, they talk about minutes. And it's like minutes, it's getting minutes, and I think as long as they get minutes and they feel part of it, because you can feel detached, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can feel detached if you don't play or you don't get on as a sub.
I think one player probably Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think that's what's happened with him. I think he maybe feel detached because all of a sudden he's not been involved. For whatever reason.
I feel for him.
He's done well for the club at various times. But you know, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's in the squad today. That's one. But that's the way the manager, he has to make these decisions. And I'm not saying he did it, but if a player questions it, then he's got to know what to do with that. If he's not in 100% of the squad,
I think the master of it. Sorry, the master was Alex Ferguson on it.
You
know, just keeping all the players, because I mean he created a great team, but it was the squad for Man United, and he seemed to keep them all happy, didn't he? All the players, and that's what like Aldo said, they're the seat, because you need them. They have to come on the pitch at some point for you, and if you lose them, you know, the effort's not there, the desire's not there. But Jurgen has got that. He's got that Alex Ferguson factor.
It's a completely different way of managing, though, isn't it? I mean, we were never in the dressing room with Alex Ferguson, but it looked like it was almost a fear factor with him. Whereas he spoke about leadership today and saying, Jurgen Klopp was saying, I'm not sure I know much about leadership, but I know how to listen. You know, he embraces all of the senior players' opinions on things and how they should maybe evolve as a team. And you know, this team has evolved. He's been so good at getting the best out of players that maybe have moved on or maybe not been part of the picture anymore. Now he has a squad full of superstars.
Absolutely, but what you said there, and it is, and you know, there was a fear factor about Alex Ferguson, probably more so than the players in the club. But Jurgen's installed that, hasn't it? You know, because when we play teams, the fear factor's there. You know, we've seen it. They try their best, but they always know the teams in the back there that we're going to catch them out. You know, in the second half, it'd be when they tire, because they put you to fight against Liverpool. You have got to put so much energy into a game, you know, physically and mentally, and that's the time that you're always in 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the end of the game. That's when we start to catch teams out, because it's impossible to do it, and the fear factor's there. They know that's going to happen as well.
The difficulty for a manager, the modern manager, is you can't. And I've spoken to some managers, and you know, I've listened to what they've said. You can't go into a dressing room now and single out a person and give them down the banks. You can't point fingers and you can't accuse them, and you know, you just can't do that now. It's got to be more of a collective approach. If the team don't play well, if you don't get the results, it's a collective that have let the team down, and you've all let yourselves down. What he's got is a dressing room where Jordan Henderson can point a finger and give out. So can Virgil van Dijk. I'm sure Andy Robertson is quite vocal as well, and obviously James Milner. And when you've got players like that in the dressing room, Jurgen can walk out, and then players can then do what he probably would like to do. Individually criticise a player. I can imagine Jordan. Well, I know for a fact Jordan's called out players individually and questioned, you know, their performances or whatever. You see it on the pitch, you know, and the modern manager can't do that now. I mean, used to manage, like back in our day, the manager would point his finger at you, wouldn't he, and ask you questions. It was a ruthless place, the dressing room, wasn't it? But you just can't do that now. But I think Jordan does that for him, and I think it is done slightly differently. But he's got players like that in his dressing room, and it's great to have.
Players out there limbering up at the moment. Jurgen Klopp has given his press conference. We should also allude to Joe Gomez, who's out there. This is another success. It looked so grim for him just a few weeks ago, didn't it? He's played his part massively in Champions League adventures, and how good has this fella been this season? This is a big decision for the manager.
Oh, huge, you know, and he's had by far his best seasons, his most consistent season, you know, because he's played. And that goes down to the managers as well. Konate's coming because he knows he manages his body, because he's injury prone. Joe Matip. That's happened for seasons after season. But last year, the manager, him, and the medical side done a great job. But you have to say he's been one of our players of the season. He's been absolutely fantastic, and that's we talked about last night. The big question mark. We know if Thiago's fit, he will play. We know the team, but that's the one decision that Jurgen will be. He'll be going. He probably knows now.
I spoke about it yesterday. I don't know how you feel about this. I'll ask you the question. I mean, I've gone for Matip. I think he should play, and I think he will play.
But can I just say, if you played every game in this competition, right, and then you get to the final, and then the manager doesn't stick with you, and not loyal to you for getting you there, and that's why I think he will play.
He done it with Quivine Kelleher, didn't he?
Yeah.
We all thought Alisson was going to play the final of the League Cup, and he stuck by his guns, and he said no, he plays.
I thought he was going to play.
Quivine, But what I'm going to say to you now,
so that's why it tells me I think that's really
I'm kind of like going the other way now. I know there's probably a graphic set up on my team, and if you'd ask me now, but I'm thinking Konate, and where I talked myself into it yesterday was he
changed your mind since Thursday.
Yeah, because I mean, you'd obviously do a lot of research and some things pass you by, but he's actually in the national team with Benzema, Konate, and I just think he might know a bit more than Matip will about, you know, playing him. He'll play against him in training, little five-a-sides. They'll probably play 11-a-side warm-up matches with France. He knows Benzema, doesn't he, from the national team? So I don't know whether that might play in the manager's mind. Also, I think with John as well, he's probably just talked me into it as well. If he was to take him out the team, it would be a big call, wouldn't it? Big call, because he's trusted him all the way through.
Yeah, and he's not let us down.
And he's not let us down. Yeah.
Joel Matip, don't forget, you won't forget, but provided the assist for Divock Origi in 2019, didn't he, to clinch that Champions League trophy. His best goal-scoring season as a Liverpool player, his best season in terms of appearances as well. This is the really difficult part for a manager. He'll have probably done it, won't he, in the last couple of hours today, perhaps, would have told the players what was in his mind, maybe the team that he's picked. How hard is that for a cup final?
I'm going to tell you something about John Achterberg. When we played the Carling Cup final, Wellington Cup final it was at the time. Carabao changed all the time.
Was it Leicester?
Yeah, Leicester the final. I made the big call. It was between John Achterberg and Joe Murphy, and I went with Joe.
How did that come about? You had to make that call?
It was really, I can't remember because it's that far ago, to be quite honest, and I went with Joe, and Joe did all right. It wasn't his fault, the goals, but afterwards, because John played nearly all that game, I thought, perhaps looking back on it now, I think I probably made the wrong call. Nothing against Joe Murphy, so the manager, he will know, and well, let's wait and see, but I just think Kanate's going to play.
Do you think he's told him the team already? They know?
No, I don't
know how he does it. Each manager has their own way, don't they?
I don't think so. No, I think he'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, I think he'll do it tomorrow.
It's a tricky one.
Little games going on. The bumps it probably used to be called, or the beats going through the tunnel there. I think maybe someone's given the ball away when they shouldn't have done. The one thing that really strikes you, you don't expect them to be quivering wrecks or tears rolling down their cheek, but they look like they're in their natural habitat out there. They look like they're having great fun.
It's been made over and the experience gives you that. I said to someone today, 2018, I didn't think they were ready. They were newcomers, weren't they? They tasted Sevilla in Switzerland, obviously the disappointment of that, but I felt they were newcomers to that stage that I set before when I was talking about the Champions League, the show that it is. I just thought 2018 Madrid as well, they were in a better place. They were a lot younger, weren't they, some of the players, and the bench was a lot stronger than ours. It was just a really difficult night, and I was a bit of a pessimist that night, and I thought we need a bit of luck to win this. But that's in Kiev. But in Madrid, when we beat Tottenham, and now I'm a lot more confident because this team, this squad is better in a lot of ways.
Well, we spoke
but
about
emotionally better.
Yeah, we spoke about it before, didn't we? You know, and Mo Salah went off, and we're like, because I think we were 1-0 down at that time, and Lallana came on, and that showed you the depth of the squad because he wasn't even 100% fit, was he?
He barely played.
And then he just come back.
I mean, even though Jason, he's probably right what he's saying, but when you was to swap the two goalkeepers on that occasion, we might have won that game. The problem was our goalkeeper, Karius. He absolutely had the biggest nightmare on the biggest scale that you could have on the biggest game, and that was. We got back to 1-0, and let's not forget. Even without Mo on the pitch. But hey, I think what you are right. Well, you are right. We learned from that experience, and we took that into the Tottenham game. We got a nice little decision early on that went for us, the penalty, and then we saw the game.
Yeah, there's no guarantee turning up and looking like you're in your own habitat you're going to win the game, but there was a bit of a swag. There's a bit of a swagger now. I think we're kind of royalty now. I don't think we fear anybody. I think Madrid will fear us more than we fear Madrid. I think we've got this.
I'll go with that.
And you must have had it with your team where you just feel you can't lose. I mean, they've lost 3 games this season, and one of them was Inter Milan, which was a lot of changes, and it was a dead rubber, wasn't it? It was nothing. But they're not used to losing. They don't. It's kind of like. It's a great mindset to have, isn't it? Elite sport, when you've got that feeling you can't lose. You must have had it in your team.
Yeah, but especially with that team at the late 80s with Liverpool.
Yeah.
We would go out, and I said it time and time before. I'm wrecking the table here as well, by the way. I've said it time and time before. It wasn't a matter of will we win the game. It was a matter of how many buy. And we were so confident in our own ability. Okay, we slipped up on a couple of occasions, but football was different in them days, I think.
Yeah, and it's also something that Jurgen Klopp perhaps alluded to in his press conferences. Again, he said that Liverpool have to play at their top level, but he also said that when we perform at the top of our game, we're very difficult to play against. If Liverpool can reach those levels at the end of a long season for Real Madrid, physically, they must be a nightmare to play against.
If we win, if we play well, and we've said this time and time again, if we play well tomorrow, okay, you've got to get a little bit of run of the ball. We won't need luck if we play well, put it that way. And the front three are at it, we'll win the game.
Peter, the Premier League is arguably the strongest league around the world. There is a disparity between La Liga, Liga, Bundesliga, and obviously the Premier League. Manchester City and Liverpool, this is how good they are. They finished 18 and 19 points ahead of Chelsea, who finished third.
Yeah.
That's how good these two teams are.
Is it 30 ahead of Man United?
It's something like that.
I've just got to throw that one in. It's something like that anyway.
Get out your pocket ready, haven't you?
If they play well, if they play at their best, no one can live with Liverpool. It's as simple as that. It's just the way it is. But then tomorrow night you got to throw a lot into the equation. It's the Champions League final. It's a one-off. There'll be nerves. There'll be anticipation. The emotion of the game. Like I said, it's like if you don't start well, all of a sudden. So a lot of things can happen, can go wrong. But like you said, if Liverpool turn up, which they very rarely don't.
Yeah.
They should win this game.
Let's talk about the front three, Jason, because that is another quandary, isn't it? Or is it a quandary? Everybody you speak to at the moment seemingly picks the same front three for the final. You all did on extra time this week as well. Is there a debate over it or not?
Well, I seen Didier Man's quote today saying he feels Diaz shouldn't play and Firmino should play. It'll play into the hands of Madrid. I don't quite get where Didi's coming from there.
I don't know what time of the day was it when he said it, by the way.
What are you trying to imply?
No, but it's a strange one.
Strange one, wasn't it?
Because he's been our best player, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been our best player for the last, forward-wise, absolutely. In the last couple of months, he's been. What a sign that was at the right time, and that pulled us through, pushed us on. Pushed us right on.
And by the way, in the cup finals, where you can look at a player and think, how does he handle this occasion? He's been fantastic. I mean, both Chelsea games. He was a get-out for us when we were under the pressure. He knew how to keep the ball. He was a constant pest, wasn't he? He was just always looking to get in behind. Thiago Van Trent played an unbelievable ball in the FA Cup final too, and he should have done better. He should have scored. But he's at the ground running, and I'd be very, very surprised if he didn't play. The front three, this front three for me is the best in the world, I think.
Yeah, on the day, yeah, absolutely go with you. Yeah.
Let's state the obvious then. That front three that most people are picking, certainly within the ranks of the ex-Liverpool players at the moment. Salah plays, who you've just seen there, of course, as does Sadio Mane, as does Luis Diaz.
Well, Sadio, I mean, since he's come back from the African Cup of Nations, his 13 goals he scored, he's kind of got stronger and stronger as the season's gone on, which is phenomenal, the amount of football that he plays. I mean, we forget he's been away to the African Cup of Nations, got to the final.
He struggled a bit before the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah, he went through a big
lull. But you're right, when he came back, he was on it, wasn't he?
Do you think that might have been the Diaz sign? Like sort of kind of competition for places?
Yes, 100%. That's what the best time it was, because all of a sudden Jota was having a free rein, he was doing really well, and then that's the Liverpool of old, because you knew if you didn't play well you'd lose your place, and it pushes you on, it spurs you on, that someone's going to, you've got your wing runners on thinking, he's going to take me place here, so it spurs you on, and it's great to have good rivalry within your ranks.
Mo Salah, who again plays the biggest game of his life, and there was a stat that appeared over the last 48 hours saying that Mo Salah and Sadio Mane have clocked up the most air miles of any footballer in any of the top leagues this season, which won't surprise you either. I know we're trying to stay away from the word revenge, and Jurgen Klopp again answered a question about it during the week, and he says they have a phrase in Germany which is that you will always meet another day. How much of the emotion that went with 2018 for Mo Salah can he channel into this game tomorrow night? Is it possible to do that as a player?
Yeah, at the end of this, the hurt's there. It's been there ever since. What Ramos did was so cynical. It's so cynical. We all knew it. He knew what he was doing, and he touched lucky that he floored him the right way. I'm always looking to obviously get his first Champions League, and it ended up sour in many ways. You always want the back of your mind. I did. I always wanted a second chance. I wanted a chance to get revenge some way or form.
No, not you.
Yeah. But you have, and to be fair, revenge is probably not the right word nowadays, but it wasn't nowadays.
It's a very strong word.
It was nowadays, though. It was revenge. We used to come out and say.
That's why Aldo's got loads of scars on his elbows. If you ever meet him in a short sleeve shirt.
You're not wrong.
But Jurgen's come out and he's dealt with it really, really well and played it down quite rightly so.
Listen, you can want something too much, can't you?
Yeah.
You know, you can just want it too much.
We talked about before.
I think
It can rule your head, can't it?
Well, I think that's why he's playing down the revenge. I think that, you know, we've played them since then. You know, we don't talk about getting knocked out of the Champions League last year, do we? Madrid done us. You know, we don't talk about that game. We all go back to that 2017, 28?
Yeah,
2018 final, yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot happened. A lot happened on that night. You know, I think you've got to go through that to create the team we've created. We were there in Switzerland, and we keep going back to the rousing speech that Jurgen did. It was like something from Gladiator, wasn't it? It was like, and by the end of the night, you thought we'd won the Europa League, wouldn't you? The way we all sort of embraced it. But you kind of got to go through them emotions. I think the word revenge, I think, is being played down because you can want something so much and so bad, you want to get them back so much. They just need to go out and play their own game and just know that on their day, like you said, they're better than any team in the world on their day, and if they play like that, they reach them levels, they will be fine. They will be fine with themselves.
The roots of really successful pre-season as well. The players all got a text, you know, off Jurgen Klopp at the start of the summer when they came back for pre-season training, and he basically said to the players, prepare your family for the fact that they might not see you now for the next 4 weeks. That is longer than a normal pre-season. They were in a training camp together. There was such concern about COVID, and I think probably sewn into that was that they couldn't afford players to miss games at the start of the season because he knew the league was going to be so close, and they got that closeness, the players. They spent so much time together. They seem like a much closer group now than I think they've ever been under this manager. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Camaraderie is massive, isn't it? We had it with Ireland. We were very, very close.
Absolutely ridiculous now. Yeah, like you fight for each other. You know, you fight for your mate. You know, you don't want something happens to him or he does something wrong. You want to mop the damage up. You know, and that goes out saying. And I think that. So, see, pre-seasons, you know, people say just sometimes just say it random, but it's so important to get a really good pre-season under your belt, make sure your body's well prepared. But the fact that you're away together, that does unite you all as well. So it was 2-1.
You just made a good point there. I think they know that there's only a few games to slip up if you want to win the league, because Manchester City and them are just pushing each other to so many records and different levels that we've ever seen before. I mean, we spoke to Phil Thompson the other day. His Liverpool team give 5 games. They would say you get beat more than 5 times.
Yeah,
were you the same? Did you with your team?
First year we got beat twice.
All season?
Yeah, all season twice. Yeah. Everton and Nottingham Forest.
But did you give yourselves a target, a number? Would you say like
in them days? Yeah, because you basically know the number of points that's going to win it. Now, you need mid-90s to be anywhere near City.
Well, 25 times out of 29 Premier Leagues, the points Liverpool have amassed this season would have won the league.
Easy.
25 times.
Unbelievable. You know,
it's ridiculous.
And when we lost it a few years ago to Man City,
by a point at 10.
It's unbelievable. It's just they've raised the bar, and we always know whether it's legal or illegal, whatever they've done. You know, and they've got this great squad, and it's got a great manager. What these have done to even stand shoulder to shoulder to them is immense, and then win 2 cups alongside and be in this final. You know, and we've done it the right way. You know, the management of our club, people who run it, have done it. You know, you sell players and you go and invest in other players, and they've done it brilliantly well, and they've given Jurgen what he needs, and he's been and the recruitment part, you know, the players we brought in, it's been fairly spot on, hasn't it?
There's got to be an element to look in that though, because the recruitment, I think the due diligence is phenomenal, and they've had, you know, Michael Edwards played a big part in that. Jurgen's identified who he wants, and they've gone away and you know, they've got the players, and FSG have backed them as well, because there's been some big signings, and we got to praise them as well. They put their money where their mouth is, haven't they? You know, they brought in Van Dijk, they give them the money, the big money, Alisson as well, and they've worked. But it doesn't always necessarily mean that they're going to be a success. You can bring them in, and there's lots of things can go wrong. We've seen lots of players. I mean, for me, 100 million for Jack Grealish. You know, he's missed a third of the games this season for Manchester
Just
City.
on the bench.
I just don't think it's
Just on
worked.
the bench.
So you do get them instances, but here I think the manager is just. I think the due diligence is very, very good on the player.
It's hard to say that,
it's hard to say that word, isn't it? And I think, you know, there's been a little bit of luck here and there as well with some of them, but in the main, I would say possibly, and I'm not going to name names, but I think there's only one that probably hasn't worked.
I just think there's so many there's so many stories, isn't there? The more different faces you see here flashing across the screens have all made this massive contribution. You saw young Reece Williams in there before as well.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the contribution he made at the end of last season alongside Nat Phillips.
And that was a lovely touch by Jurgen, wasn't it, when he thanked them?
Thank them both, yeah.
Both,
You know, Nat Phillips and Ozan Kabak were the centre-back partnership last time Liverpool played Realmadrid.
Yeah.
You know,
It shows you where we've come to.
they're
It's
at
quite
elite levels
interesting,
now.
Peter. He's made them train in the sunny part of the stadium, whereas, you know, if I was manager, I'd want them to not get too much sun. But obviously, he's doing that for a reason, you know, because
It's due to be a lot warmer tomorrow, isn't it?
So I think that just again the preparation is immaculate, you know, with Jurgen and his staff. So that's obviously, you know, the reason why.
Well, they're probably over that side because this side you picked the pitch up and it was like they probably don't want them to see it.
All the carpet's loose on the stairs over here. Roberto Firmino as well, perennial winner with Liverpool. We've talked about the youth and exuberance of this big team selection at the age of 22. Ibrahima Konate about perhaps to play in a Champions League final, and the dependency. We talked about goalkeepers before about this guy. I mean, he must be bad at something, mustn't he? The nicest fella you could ever meet, the best goalkeeper for me in the world at the moment as well. And we have such faith that if Benzema is facing him down, that we'd back our big Brazilian to come out on top as good as Benzema is.
He'll be used tomorrow.
Yeah, he is.
He'll be called upon.
He was excellent in both cup finals, wasn't he? Well, sorry, in both, because Keller was in one. He was excellent, but in the Chelsea game, he was immaculate. Every single thing he had to do right, he did right.
I got asked to pick some. I think, were you there? The moments of the season when we were talking about it yesterday, and
yeah,
I think it's is it for the show tomorrow? We were looking back, and one of my moments is the Norwich save, first game of the season. But he saved it 3 times. He saves it, gets up and gets an arm out and then saves again. You know, that just, for me, it was phenomenal. First game of the season, you just think, well, you got that in goal, you've got a chance, haven't you?
Yeah, but we wouldn't be standing here now only for that header.
And the header, yeah.
You picked that moment out at Christmas, although, on extra time as being the moment of the season. That could be the moment of a generation, couldn't it?
It's one of the best moments as a Liverpool fan, because let's not forget that season was really tough for everyone, for the players. We couldn't get to see them, we couldn't you know, get behind them, the 12th man, and we looked like we weren't going to get the 4th place, and he pops up. He couldn't write the script. You know, his dad had passed away just before. You know, it was just one of the best moments in football, Liverpool football ever.
In sport.
You know, for someone that he was one of the best older, wasn't he? At heading balls. How good a header was it as well?
Great header. Anyone would have been proud of that. That was one of the best headed goals I've ever seen. I was shocked when I was doing the commentating on it. I was just shocked that, you know, he was so good. And as soon as you knew it was in, didn't you? You knew it was in. He leapt so high and he timed it so right. For a goalkeeper to do that, it's fantastic.
You wonder what this night is going to be like for Liverpool players. And I know they've been through it before, but it is about killing time, isn't it? A lot of waiting for a cup final to come along, how you sleep, what you eat.
It's a horrible week. It's a horrible week because
you want it to come too quick.
Yeah.
You want it.
This is the point now where you just want to play the game. It's kind of like, you know, all week it's like tickets. And then it's
all week.
No, well, I think that's probably been sorted.
But what I mean is,
it used to be in the older days. It used to be a nightmare. Your tickets.
Yeah, for us it was tickets. I mean, right up to the day, sometimes you were scratching around for tickets in the dressing room, like half an hour before.
It still goes on with these current players.
And it still goes on. But then you've obviously all the press, and then they've got to get over the disappointments of Sunday. You know, they're going to have to pick themselves up and get back from that.
Yeah, that was
you know, so that would have been difficult for them. So it kind of becomes a bit of a long week, but this is where now I always used to feel, because we used to do this with international games, didn't we? We'd come to the stadium the night before, wouldn't we? And we'd get on the pitch, we'd do a bit of shooting, a bit of a mess around, quick little five-a-side, old versus young. Young never won that game, by the way. They all did. You were too experienced.
It was exciting, wasn't it?
And it was good,
I used to love that part of it the night before training. I loved it.
But for me, that's when the game that's when it's here now. We're on it now, and this is. You start preparing as a footballer, as a sportsman. You start doing that now.
This is really enjoyable. After this, they go, then you've got to sleep tonight. Then you've got to get up in the morning and you
go for your walk.
I want it now. I want the game to start now. You know.
You know what's different now from when you were playing as well is they have their own room now. There's no roommates. There's no one to kind of lean on where that is concerned.
No, that's. I think you've got to have a roomie, haven't you?
It's a little bit of fun. I think
the crossbar challenge they're doing.
I think a lot of the assembled press were thinking, great, we're going to get them to see them take penalties here, but
they won't
it's
do
at
that,
the crossbar.
Well, did you sorry, just to go back to the penalties, did you see the thing that come out by someone who was looking into it? They were saying he looked at Tuchel and he looked at Jurgen Klopp's preparation when the final whistle went from the extra time, and the difference in time with Jurgen, Liverpool's was all done. Every player knew he was taking a penalty, and Jurgen went up one by one to each player, had a little word in his ear, and it was all done like maybe just under 2 minutes, where Tuchel took about 4 or 5 minutes, and he was like, you're trying to sort out who's taking the penalties, which order they're all going in, and he was saying that the preparation is meticulous because it settles the players down. They know before the game that they're taking a penalty, and it's, you've prepared, mentally prepared, because I mean, I've been in the situation where the manager's come on and basically gone, well, the World Cup, who wants a penalty? It was like Niall Quinn went from 6'4" to 4'6". He just didn't want one, and that's what happens. You're just not prepared.
It's not going to, is it? Not like the other two finals.
Oh, with us, you don't know.
You just don't know. Look, you take it, of course you take it. You've got to win. You've got to win it some way of form, and this moment in time is penalties. So if it goes and win on penalties, that would be so historical. The first team to win 3 cups, all of them on penalties in the season. That would be another monument that we've climbed. Right? We've climbed all the monuments that have been put in front of us over the years. That wouldn't surprise me.
Eiffel Tower would be a good one to finish on, wouldn't
it? You'd take it, but no. I just want us to get out them storm blocks very quick tomorrow. Because I think Madrid are a little bit susceptible earlier in the games. I think it's later in the games when they've come, and it may just be that a little bit of a, wouldn't say motivation, a little bit of a scheme where the manager says, look, let's really have a little go. Like we did at Man City, we caught them cold in the semi-final, didn't we? And we 2-0 up before they knew it. With maybe Madrid are just slow starters, and then they get better as it goes.
I think the first 10 minutes is crucial in this game. I think it's where Liverpool, they can bully Madrid by the way they start. They can get in their face. They can impose themselves and say, listen, we're gonna play the tune in this game. It's like we're gonna control the game. We're not frightened. We respect you, but we're not frightened of you. I felt in 2018, I think there was a little bit, maybe a little bit too much, everything coming together, it just didn't work out. But I think this team, like I said before, I think Madrid would be more scared of Liverpool than the other way around, and I think Liverpool need to start the game and show that, we're here to win the game, we're not here to mess around, we're here to win it. And I think the press, that comes from the press, it comes from the high intensity, the effort, and I think that'll be the instructions from the manager. I think it'll be right, go out and impose yourselves in the first 10 minutes and own the game.
Let's not forget as well that if you believe all that you read at the moment, that it's been quite a tough week for Real Madrid as well. They didn't get Mbappe. He's recommitted to Paris Saint-Germain. It was almost played out as though they would announce Mbappe during the week and then win the Champions League on the Saturday night. They've been to the well so many times this season, Alder. We know they're never dead in a game. If you go to the well so many times, is it sometimes that the well goes dry against a team like Liverpool?
I hope so, certainly hope so. You talk about Mbappe and the things that they come out with at the end. When I played for Real Sociedad, the Basque people, when they played against Real Madrid, because the king and the queen, they always look at it's their club, and you always used to get like double bonuses and doubler, and then again when we played them, we beat them at home and I scored 2 and we beat them away in the Bernabeu and won 3-2 as well. So I've seen the two. It was great to beat them because I have to say the Basque players you see, although Madrid, arrogante, muy arrogante, they've got this arrogance about them, the club, you know, and maybe they say it too,
because games, although doesn't it? It's like what I was saying before.
But they've won it 13 times, and when they got to the final, Los Blancos and all.
The royalty, aren't they? They are.
But you've got to give them credit. They are. You know, they are.
But where they are right now.
But if they don't get their own way, you know, Mbappe, they throw the toys out the pram, don't they?
It's all part of the game. Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be hurt by that. I mean, there's not many players who,
but they're so big. We've got Mbappe, and he's turning around and giving him a custard pie.
Basically,
proper custard pie at the end of the day, and you know, from Real Madrid, that will hurt the club massively.
I think we're looking as well. I think they won the league 5 games ago. I'm a big believer in this about the way teams tick over. We've gone to the wire. We've gone to the final day of the season with Manchester City, and it keeps you. And we were talking about it, weren't we, last night? And it keeps you mentally in tune, doesn't it? It's like you don't switch off.
It does.
They beat Espanyol, won the league. He's then rested a few players. The last 4 games they've won 1, drawn 2, and lost 1. He played a really strong team against Betis last game of the season, possibly his team that he's going to play tomorrow night. Very, very strong. And they drew the game, and I just thought they're not quite on it here. It's just not. You'd want to win that game comfortably and come into this one on the back of a bit of confidence.
But it's like our game against Wimbledon. We won the league against Tottenham at home.
Just switch off,
and then we did. We really did. We drew against Luton at home 1-1, and you know, a couple of results weren't great. And we went to the Wimbledon game, and we weren't firing on all cylinders. We played all right first half. We should have had a couple of goals, you know, first half. We didn't take the chances, and then obviously Peter's chip got pulled back. They got the goal off a set play, and it's a different game. But we weren't doing them when we needed to do a month before. And Jason's got a point there. It's a big point, and hopefully that's the case, because you know sometimes you know where you are. You know, you're flying, you're going, and if you know, for a couple of weeks you haven't been doing that.
You don't have time to think.
Sometimes you can't get back to that.
Sometimes you don't have time to think about it, do you? You're just straight into it.
Well, we haven't had time because we've been playing games every 3 days.
It was funny when they won it in 2019. A lot of the coaching staff and even the manager mentioned after the game the quality of the match. I mean, Liverpool had played their last game of the season in 2019 on the 12th of May. The final didn't come along till the 1st of June.
It was a while.
And both teams had just had too much inactivity, hadn't they?
The game panned out like that. It was a funny game, wasn't it? There was a lack of energy about it. It was a bit passive, wasn't it?
Very, very warm as well.
Yeah, it was hot, and you know, we got the goal early, didn't we? The Salah penalty, and I didn't think it was a pen, to be honest. I thought it was a soft one.
Cast iron.
But when Origi scores, I mean, we celebrate. That was, for me, that was the winning goal. That was we deserve it after that goal. But you're right. I mean, the game, you know, we kind of it wasn't a great spectacle, really.
Roberto Firmino in the picture there as well. He's all smiles.
Nice to have him as an option. You know,
how big is that, the 5 subs for this?
Do you know what?
To change your game
I think we're looking at, like, for me and Bobby, to be fair, he come off the bench the weekend and done well. Jota, they'll want to get on the pitch at some given time. The front players won't want to come off the pitch, and that straight away because it's just something what certainly we didn't have when we in Kiev. You know what I mean? And we're even better, more so equipped now than we were against Tottenham.
There's more quality, isn't there, on our bench than theirs?
Yeah, I think
you know,
so.
You talk about the subs. You know, it's crucial because of fitness, obviously, but I think the options are quality and how you can change it. There's 1 or 2 Madrid players. Isco's still there, and they're talking about maybe Bale might be on the bench. They've got a couple of decent players.
They won't play Bale.
No, he won't play, but he could feature at some point. You just don't know. He might get 10 minutes if he's on the bench. But you know, for our bench, we've got a lot of options, and tactically as well. You know, we can swap it about. I mean, we've seen that against Wolves at the weekend. I mean, he threw everything on, didn't he? We had to score it. They all went on, didn't they?
It was great management again, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and it worked. Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, we've utilised the bench really well. I mean, he's brought Diaz off the bench a couple of times. He's affected games. Villarreal, I think, in my head. Jordan Henderson against Milan came on and changed the game. You know, we've got subs that come on and change games, haven't we? So it's great to have that option, and obviously the 5, you know, I think plays in our hands more than theirs.
Harvey Elliott as well.
Harvey Elliott there.
Yeah.
I think he was at the last game with his dad, wasn't he?
With his kit on.
As a specky, yeah.
This is massive for him as well, this experience.
Guys.
Creates hunger.
He'd be pinching himself now, wouldn't he? Is this happened to me? Am I really here?
All of the body language, all of the signs from Thiago have been really positive. I think if you asked us yesterday, just prior to seeing him on the pitch here tonight, we would have been fairly worried about his involvement in the game, but he's been juggling the ball, he's been having a laugh with everybody. That would suggest, wouldn't it, that he's either been given the nod or he feels as though he's in a good place.
He's at 60% here. I said to you before, you know, you can get away with 60% sometimes with a you know, a nasty injury. You can get away with it. If he's, you know, the medical team will be all over him tomorrow. I mean, will you get an honest answer out of him? I'm not so sure.
Well, was he just being mega cautious in coming off the pitch last Sunday? You know, players have all got different.
Yeah, but didn't you see him going up the tunnel and he looked really down?
Yeah, and he wasn't moving particularly well. But then, you know, some players have different ways of managing their own fitness, don't they? Is it something that maybe he's been managing for a while now, and he's able to get himself through another game again?
I was just watching Van Dijk there hitting the ball from the halfway line and trying to do the crossway challenge. I'm wondering if he's going to pull his thigh muscle or something.
The thing with Thiago, right, is like, yeah, we talk about he might be. Listen, he's pinging balls around. He's a little bit cautious at 60%. When that game starts tomorrow, that's 100 mile an hour. Yeah. That's like, and you're on it. And you know, if that injury is not quite right, he's going to do it again. You get found out. Yeah, you're going to do it again. It's going to hurt. He's going to, you know, all right. The adrenaline when it's pumping through you is a lovely. That adrenaline can cover a lot of things, mate. When it's pumping through your veins, it's great stuff. I wish they'd bottle it and sell it in the supermarkets. But you can only get so far, mate. But once that game starts, and you've got to be on it, you know, we'll see then if he starts the game how fit he is.
Balls are just getting back in with the kit men at the moment, and it's funny, you know, you look down the touchline at the moment at all of the Liverpool superstars that are out there, and there might be quite obvious price tags on their head. I tell you, the people that are absolutely worth their weight in gold over the next 24 hours will be the masseurs, the likes of Paul Small, who's been here for years and years, Lee Nobes and his medical team, the likes of Chris Morgan. You know, they'll work late into the night tonight. They'll be 9-10 o'clock before they even get the chance to eat tonight, probably, because they are rubbing players down. Again, they're killing down the clock, aren't they? It's
the nature of the job. You know, and we're a victim of our own success. You know, we're playing 63 games this season because we're brilliant. It's as simple as that. And they all play the part. The team behind the team, you know, they play their part as well, don't they? They're so important. Unsung heroes, some of them, like you say, that, you know, the amount of effort that they put in and sacrifice as well. You know, up late. You know, looking after players, getting them prepared right. I mean, there's so much more goes into it now than just jumping on a treatment table and getting a massage before the game, isn't it? Or a hot bath. It's jump in the bath and get warmed up. Yeah, there's so much more to it, and the phenomenon, the diet, when they eat now before the game, it's timed. You know, there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff goes into it.
Yeah, I was just surprised. I thought they might have had the game, Pete. Jason, quick game,
This will presumably happen tomorrow, Alden. I mean, they don't want to do that in front of all the watching cameras. He quite often will go through in the morning. They'll go to a local team round here and go through the set plays. And the team that has been picked will go through that as well.
The other thing, you don't want to give too much away, do you? There's so much now.
We did in Madrid, didn't we? Because there was a worry about Bobby Firmino, if I remember correctly. And they played the game, and
that's right.
They had watching. He was in
a shadow game or something.
Yeah. But you learn by, you know, your experiences, don't you? And obviously they don't seem to. Well, they didn't do it here, but just got a feel. Went out and got a feel of the place. That's what they did.
And how important will that be that they get a feel of this pitch, which if you're just getting in from work and just joining us, it was something that Jurgen Klopp spoke about in his press conference before the game, that there is a little bit of concern about how it will play. The fact that they've had that hour out there and had the chance to get used to it a little bit will be an advantage.
Well, they're straight on it now, aren't they, the ground staff? The gentleman just walked past there, he's the head one. He was talking to us the other day about what he was up to.
Yeah, Madrid will be here, what time? 7:30, is it? 7.
I'll get a chance to run through it as well. In terms of what happens next and how the players are feeling now, what was the ritual in terms of what time you would eat and and that, what time would you go to bed? What time would you get up the next morning as a player?
I don't know, it's all changed from our days, isn't it? Like, we used to eat. We'd eat after this. You'd probably eat about an hour or so after this.
You go back shower, don't you?
Yeah.
I know you'd shower. No, we'd go back. We'd go in our kit, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
we'd go from the hotel. We'd be dressed. Yeah. This is a bit. They come straight from the airport. Usually we'd fly in hotel. We'd get changed in our kits. Then we'd come train, and we'd just literally leave. You'd in the dressing room. You might have a drink or whatever. Then you straight to the hotel. You'd shower at the hotel. You go down for your meal, don't you? And have a bit of a laugh. And then we'd have sandwiches, wouldn't we, about 10 o'clock? Tea and sambos, the sandwiches would come, the cheese sandwiches and chicken sandwiches, and we'd have a cup of tea.
As well.
Yeah, white bread. We'd be on the white bread, Mars bars and Snickers, weren't they? And then we'd have a laugh, and then we'd be in bed by 10:15. And then whoever you were room with, depending on how well you slept with, if you were room with Aldo, you didn't get much sleep because he snores. So, well, they get their own rooms now, don't they? So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't... They have rituals, don't they?
We only ever had our own rooms in the USA. In the World Cup.
I got lonely though when moved in with Gary Kelly. I couldn't do it.
Do you know what you do? I don't know the way it is now. You like your own space, don't you? Maybe the way it's gone, but in them days, your room partner was vital to each other. To have a laugh and and get you a cup of tea in the morning if you can wangle that one. He makes the tea, but.
You roomed with Ray Houghton, didn't you? Did he make the tea?
No, we didn't. No, Ray, no chance. No. To be fair, I liked a good strong cup of tea, so I didn't mind making that in the morning. He was a good room partner, Ray. We had good times.
Aldo has been talking about the journey of the fans quite a lot over the last 24 hours. His son and his grandsons are making their way out here via some mad destinations to try and get here along the way as well. Just a word on those fans who've dropped whatever it was that they were due to spend money on a family holiday just to get a place inside the stadium for this game tomorrow.
No, we go back to 1977 and the UEFA Cup finals before then against Bruges. The fans, and there's great fans in every club, great fans that go either and everywhere, and but I've seen so many occasions when our fans just are crazy, absolutely mental, and they'll get to the point any way or form. Rome, when we seen the pictures of Rome from back home, when I only went to the game like 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the game was starting, and you seen all the end. Wow, and I know what it meant to the players, because they've told me when they come out and seen how many fans had made the way, they said, we're not losing it, we can't lose this for them now. And then every fan, Bruges at Wembley when I went, there was only about 10,000 Bruges fans, the rest of Wembley was Liverpool fans, and it's carried on like that right the way throughout.
Well, James was telling us today, the supporters, that the fan zone that we're putting on, the club's putting on, they're expecting 50,000 fans there.
Plus, yeah.
Now, we've only got 20,000 tickets, so they're coming in numbers to support, even from outside the ground.
They always do that.
And taking over, but they've always done that. That's what you said there.
They've always done that.
Amazing.
The numbers were quoted.
Best fans in the world.
It was quoted in Madrid 70,000, 80,000 plus, and this is nearer to home, as they say, and there's going to be more than that here. And they come from all over the world.
There it is. Who's going to have the hands on that tomorrow night, late into the night? What kind of Saturday night into the early hours of Sunday morning are you going to have at home? We're all keeping our fingers crossed. We're here and we've just witnessed Liverpool's live training session, and just prior to that, Jurgen Klopp in front of the press. If you just got in from work, let's take a look at some of his best bits from tonight.
Mood is good, very good. I'm really excited about being here now. Getting a feeling for a stadium, for a location, and yes, that's all good. And it looks good for both. Thiago, Fabinho trained completely normal. Thiago trained yesterday with the team, will train today, and then we go from there.
Tomorrow you have the chance to win Champions League with Liverpool for the second time. Will this victory be sweeter and more special than the one in 2019 because of the team you are facing tomorrow, the most decorated team in this competition, Real Madrid?
I have no idea how it will feel if we win it. To be honest, you have to ask me that question after the game. In the moment we are more in the mood to prepare that we can give them a real game, a proper fight. Yes, you're right. most decorated club. It's a team where some players can win in the fifth time. It's a team where the manager can win in the fourth time. It all says a lot, obviously. So we cannot buy this experience now or get it overnight. The only thing I can say, we feel, if not the same experience, but we experience meanwhile as well. We are here the third time in 5 years. That's special as well. No, the only thing we are thinking about is how to prepare the game, how to play the game, and these kind of things. I didn't think for a second how it would feel because I'm patient enough to wait for that moment and tell you that if you are a football person, then you know what my boys did so far this season is absolutely exceptional. But of course, in the end, it's all measured by the color of the medal you get after a game. That's how it is, and we are fine with that. We are ready for that. But history will tell us what people say about us because of these kind of games. I'm more than happy and very proud of what we did so far. Pretty special. A lot of games, a lot of finals, a lot of tight, close decisions, like penalty shootouts, stuff like this. There might be people out there who think it's only one in penalty shootouts. Believe me, after 120 minutes playing Chelsea and then being ready still for the penalty shootout is one of the most difficult things you can imagine. From my point of view, I will feel better if we win the game, definitely, much better. And that's in the moment the only thing I'm concerned about. How can we make sure that that will happen?
We are back pitch side, just in time. Can you see us? We're about to get drenched by the sprinklers. That's why Aldo was around the other side of the camera.
Now.
You're grateful of this for a Champions League final when it's hot, but it's not particularly warm today, so it's not overly welcome a shower at the side of the pitch. But they're trying to, and Liverpool staff will have made the ground staff aware as to just how they would like this pitch to be watered now over the next hour or so, just before Realmadrid come onto the pitch. We were sat in the bar area in Madrid in 2019 with certainly one of the most pessimistic Liverpool fans I know in John Aldridge. He cried it in as best he could, didn't feel confident about Liverpool against Tottenham the next day. Jason wasn't too far removed from that either. So how are you feeling now?
We've got a better team than the last couple of occasions. We've got a better squad. The manager's more experienced. I'm a bit more confident, but I'm never overly confident, as you know. I like to prepare for the worst, and then when it happens, you can go
to mentally prepare.
We've played in these scenarios where they've not gone to plan. We know what it's like. For all the greatest will in the world, and as pundits, we build it up, don't we? We've got a strong team, more experience. It's a one-off game over 90 minutes, possibly extra time. That just could go either way, but I am confident.
Well, we're not done yet. We are going to stay with you, of course, over the course of the next 24 hours or so and beyond. Of course, it could, go to extra time and penalties. We're hoping that you're going to have a great Saturday night. You could have a good Saturday morning, we hope, as well, as we enjoy a little bit of breakfast together, Jason and I. We're going to have some special guests with some very special stories to tell about European finals just gone by. And then, of course, as we build up to a very special match day live as well, in the company of John Aldridge and Jason McAteer, as we hope we are building up to some really special scenes right here in Paris tomorrow night.
This is a story about Anfield's famous boot room. And it starts with Joe, smoking Joe Fagan, the kid from Scotty Road. He arrived in 1958 to work with Bob Paisley and Reuben Bennett. Within a year, Bill Shankly was their boss. Joe also lent a hand and a load of